You guys took some nuggets for being an amazing buy agent out there. So now we gotta have Emily come up. She's gonna talk to you about emotional intelligence, which is actually a perfect follow-up to the buyer agents, how you have conversations. And also, this can actually help you to kind of group them into different pieces. And I'm gonna let Emily take it away.
Thank you. All right. EQ. Who knows what it is? Raise your hand if you know what EQ is.
Sorry about that. We have to fix
Oh boy.
Yeah.
There we go. Emotional intelligence. A lot of EQ examples on this stage today, I will tell you that. They say the secret recipe for the most powerful agents are high skill, high EQ, high emotional intelligence. So what are the 5 key components to emotional intelligence or having high IQ, EQ? Uh-oh. Or we're going to start with the definition. All right, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. Pretty simple. 5 key elements. The first one, self-awareness, self-management, social skills, empathy, and motivation. These are the top 5. They say the most important is self-awareness. We're going to jump into that one. My girl got a little ridiculous with the slides. It was one slide with all the words, and then I had her moving them all around. All right, so self-awareness is the conscious knowledge of one's own character and feelings. People who are really self-aware understand their own body language and are aware of how they communicate with others. They also get better results at work. They also change the course of their interactions with people, and they progress often into leadership positions. So what can you do to improve your self-awareness? Did anybody ever go on a listing appointment here? How many people went on that appointment and nailed it? They absolutely nailed it. They crushed it. They spent a lot of time preparing, and then they didn't get the listing. Anybody? All right. What can you do? Be open to feedback. How many of you went back to that seller and said, you know, Mr. Seller, I really pride myself on what I do every day, and I prepared a lot, and I think me and you were really vibing, and I'm just wondering why you didn't pick me to be your listing agent. Well, I'll tell you, the first time I ever did that, and I actually asked the seller, I went on the listing appointment, I thought I nailed it, I delivered, I had graphs, I had comps, I knew all the properties, we had great dialogue. The next day I called, I said, have you made your decision? And he says, I'm sorry, Emily, but I'm not gonna give you the listing, but I really value your time. And I said, can you please tell me why? What made you pick the other person? And they said, well, you actually had the best presentation. And I'm like, you're kidding me. And they're like, no, we were right. We agreed with you. We believed your value. We liked your presentation. We liked your marketing. And I said, well, what was it then? And he said, well, the other agent asked us a lot of questions about us. They asked us, how long have we been in the home? They asked us about how we were going to pack up the home we had been living in for 40 years. They asked us where we were going and how they could help us relocate to that area. So, needless to say, I just said, okay, I appreciate that, and I'm gonna do better next time, and I wish you the best of luck. And then it expired, and I got the listing, and it's all over, right? But listen, I sold it, the other guy didn't, but you know what? That really opened my eyes, and it was my coach that told me to go and do that at the time, So other ways, recognize what triggers you. Did you ever get that email and it's like the other agent is basically telling you the deal's dead and you're like, you already had the commission spent, right? You're like, what's going on right now? And you fire back this email. Your head's spinning off your shoulders and smoke's coming out of your ears and you're going crazy. And then you hit the send button and then you're like, oh no, why did I do that? Like, why did I go at them that hard? I didn't have to do that, right? That's a trigger. That's triggering you. The sooner you realize that that person triggered you and you fired off, the sooner you can correct that. Knowing your own motivations and slowing everything down and pausing. I started, when people ask me tough questions and I'm kind of fly right off the cuff, I immediately pause. And people think I'm like stoned or, drinking on the side, but I'm really not. I'm pausing because that is me. I know myself. I'm self-aware. I know that when things don't go my way, I have to take a step back because if I keep being me, I'm not going to get where I need to be. All right, so that's self-awareness. On to self-management. Self-management is the ability to control your thoughts, behaviors, emotions, and impulses. People who demonstrate self-management can calm down quickly after something exciting or upsetting happens. They can focus on the task at hand. They can refocus, control, or reprioritize new tasks, and they can change their behavior to get along with others that may be difficult. How can you improve your self-management skills? Be a good role model. Practice what you preach. Be the person, act like the person you want to become. Okay? One day, I saw Diana Kokoska. She really inspired me. If you guys don't know her, Google her name. She's an amazing coach. And I thought, you know what? I want to be like Diana someday. What am I going to do to be like Diana? I started only talking in the bold laws. I remembered every bold law. I put it on my screensaver. When my colleagues at work would ask me a question, I would dish them back a bold law. All right, be open to change and embrace it. In this industry, if you're not open to change, forget it. That's like self-explanatory. Commit to self-discipline. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a big one. Meditation. A lot of people kind of laugh at it. For my whole life, I pretty much disregarded that. I just started working on meditating through a coach, and it's been pretty powerful in just a few short weeks, I will tell you. Social skills. These are situationally awareness. Social skills are learned abilities that allow people to communicate and interact with others in a variety of social situations. People are really situationally aware. They know their audience. They're reading the room. I'm looking around the room for the last 10 minutes looking to see who's looking at me or who's looking at their phone. Why? Because I don't care if you pay attention to me, but I don't want to be that boring speaker, I want to be the upbeat one, the one that keeps everybody going. Diplomatic problem solving. Possess character traits like respect, responsibility, fairness, and caring. How can you improve your social skills? You can listen more than you speak. You can observe body language, facial expressions. Praise others and give gratitude daily. Stay in curiosity. Ask questions. If I would have asked questions to that seller about them, I probably would have won that listing, right? The first time. Empathy. This is a big one. This is probably the second most important. Empathy, not to be confused with sympathy, is the ability to understand and share feelings of another. People who are really empathetic genuinely care about other people. They understand complex emotions. They are better problem solvers. They build long-lasting relationships. They inspire others. How can you improve your empathy? I think coming to places like this. Listening to these amazing speakers. Every single one in the last panel talked about their high level of emotional intelligence through their situational things that are happening to them and their interactions between them and their client. It's not always about you. Put yourself in other people's shoes. Work on your approach to difficult conversations before you begin them. When I want to have a hard conversation with somebody on my team, I think about how I'm going to approach them. If I go to them and I say, hey, Lauren, for 3 months in a row, you're down on your numbers. I don't know what this year is going to end up for you. Do you think Lauren's going to feel inspired? Hell no. No way. Now, if I go to Lauren and I say, hey, Lauren, it's the 3rd month in a row you're down on your numbers. I'm really worried about you. Are you all right? What do you think? Is Lauren going to open up to me? Probably. Yeah. All right. That's empathy. Motivation, number 5. This is the big one. Motivation is the ability to manage oneself, relationships effectively. People who have high EQ are motivated to be action-oriented, set goals, and are committed to achieving them. Highly motivated people have a huge drive to improve and achieve, a commitment to their goals, initiative and readiness to act on opportunities, resilience and ability to bounce back quickly. How can you improve your motivation? Or how can you understand the motivation of your client? That's half the battle. If I knew that those people were truly worried about selling the home that they lived in for 40 years, I would have been a lot quicker to the finish line. They turn overwhelming emotions into motivation through goal planning. Practice abundance mindfulness and avoid lack thoughts. Encourage open dialogue and collaboration. Celebrate the small wins every day. Recognizing achievement. And if you want to know what your EQ is, you can use this free EQ quiz. I think it's like 15 minutes. It's free. Emails you the results. It tells you where you're at, and it tells you how you can improve and get better. Thank you.